Novo dia. Mesmos papos, mesmas coisas, mesmos programas, mesmos lugares, mesmos passeios. Novo dia. Mesmos papos, mesmas coisas, mesmos programas, mesmos lugares, mesmos passeios. Novo dia. Mesmos papos, mesmas coisas, mesmos programas, mesmos lugares, mesmos passeios. Novo dia. Mesmos papos, coisas, programas, lugares, passeios. Quer um roteiro diferente? O cinema brasileiro tem sempre um filme novo para você. Tem emoção para todos os gostos, para todos os públicos. Viva o cinema brasileiro.
Olá, bom dia para todo mundo.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
This panel both in English and Portuguese. Good afternoon, everyone who is not in Brazil or Latin America, and good morning, buenos dias para todos que estamos aqui. I'll switch to Portuguese, and if someone wants to listen in English, you can go to the English channel or the other way around. Bom dia, muito obrigado pela presença.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your presence. It's a joy for me, for everyone of the team to be in this meeting in BrLab and also starting BrLab CoPro. And BrLab is this space, as everyone knows, that we have had for 11 years to train professional, follow up their development, training, and also bridge Latin America and world cinema. This year we have promoted several workshops, 4 workshops that are part of the activity. And yesterday we started the first year of BrLab CoPro, which is this new space focused on promoting quality meeting in co-production in a space also developed to provide help cinema in Latin America and in Brazil. And it was a pleasure for us to create BR CoPro in partnership with ProSeg Projeto Paraíso, Tema do Brasil, Brazilian Content, and with the very important support of the Department of International Trade of the United Kingdom and the essential support of France's embassy in Brazil. Throughout these days, we are gathering, all the projects are gathering with producers from several countries, from Italy, from Korea, Latin America in general. But today, specifically, we are very happy to have here a very good team of French producers and also an Italian fund and a Catalan fund and a regional French fund to talk a bit more about this French presence and also the partnership with BrPro. Please, Mathieu Thibault, the representative of France's ambassadorship. Mathieu, it's up to you. It's with you now. I think it's mute. Yes, I'm just excited. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Rafael, everyone from your teams. I'm very happy to be with you today to begin this panel and start very quick. Thanks, first of all, Rafael and BrLab for all your courage and strength in organizing something like this, such an event in such a difficult moment. It's not easy. And also thank you, Lucas, for your mediation that you will provide today through Brazilian Content. Thank you also Cinema Paradiso, who is not just a partner of the Brazilian cinema, but also our partner, the French embassy. Also, Mahmedi, Svetlana, Giuliani, thank you for your presence here also. And regarding the participation of the three funds today is extremely essential. We are in a new era of cooperation, international cooperation between the Brazilian artists, professional Brazilian artists, and the world of international co-production. These regional funds that you will discover, to be more precise, is a type of invitation for Brazilian artists to think on new ways of collaborating, producing, based on the funds that are presenting themselves today as part of this movement. We could not have Ancini today, but probably for the coming years. So I would like to tell all the producers that are watching us today in this panel that the people that you're going to listen to are partners that you will be able to think of collaborating in future films, projects. So I'm just going to emphasize also that 10 French producers were going to be here today to also follow this meeting. And also, I will try to retrieve the list of the emails of these participants and the participants of this panel today to provide opportunity that they can actually have. And because of, as I said, the absence of traditional mechanisms such as Ancini here in Brazil, we have anyhow the traditional mechanisms in France through the embassy and through our national agencies. And thank you very much. If I took too long with this presentation, thank you, Rafael, once again.
Obrigado, Mathieu.
Thank you, Mathieu. So I'd like to thank, we will certainly provide you the list of emails first. Before handing over to Lucas, I would also like to thank our lecturers today. Medir, Svetlana Charrier, and Yoli Giannatasio, thank you for being here with us today, for sharing experience and knowledge with our producers, and also Brazilian content. And now hand over to Lucas, who is the director of Brazilian content and who will be the moderator today. Lucas, thank you and welcome. So let's begin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rafael. Thank you, Mathieu, for your kind words. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon for those in Europe. Of course, I'd like to say thank you to BrLab CoPro and all partners for this initiative to promote such good panels and gather such high quality panelists. It's an honor to be part of the Show Me the Fund, a project that builds bridges between Brazil, professionals from Brazil and the international funds. It's a partnership between Brazilian content, Cinema Paradiso, Projeto Paradiso, and Cinema do Brasil. And their main initiative is the Mapa de Fundos, roadmap to finance. It's an online intuitive platform that compiles over 100 international funds opportunities for the audiovisual sector. To know more about it, please access www.chamdefund.co. Well, I'm thrilled to moderate this panel with a Catalan fund, an Italian fund, and a French fund. 3 countries that Brazil has a co-production agreement for cinema and some for TV series. And I really hope that the end of this panel we'll know more about the perspectives that will allow new partnerships in the future. Now I'd like to say welcome to our panelists. Svetlana Charrier from the Cyclic Center Vale de Loire, Yoli Maria Giannatasio from the Direzione Generale di Cinema e Audiovisual from Italy, the Minister of Culture from Italy, and Medir from Catalan Filming from Spain. We will split the panel in 3 moments, one for each of the funds, and after that we can move for the questions. If you have any questions, please write down at the chat box. It will be such an honor to answer all of the questions that you probably have. So first I'd like to start with Medir from Catalan to talk about the Minority Co-Production Fund and the other things regarding the Catalan filming. Please, Medir, welcome.
Hi, hello. Thank you for having me here. So I have a presentation if you want to put it on to explain a little bit the Catalan Film Fund. Can you go through the 3rd slide maybe? Because I have one, no, this is a bit too much. That's the end. No. No. Okay. This is okay. This is the second picture. This is the second slide. That's perfect. That's I wanted to show, and this is the 3rd one. That's perfect. Okay, thank you. So it's the picture was from our pavilion in MIPCOM just last week. And it was to show you a little bit what we do, because Catalan Films, it's the promotional agency for the promotion of the Catalan audiovisual industry worldwide. So we mainly work in 2 areas. One, it's the market. So you saw that we were in MIPCOM, and we encourage companies to internationalize themselves, and we encourage the co-production and distribution of Catalan content. And then we also work in film festivals, lobbying for them to select Catalan films and helping the promotion in the festivals. But so if you go into the next slide, Catalan Films, it's, sorry, the next one, it's part of the Catalan Film Fund. Okay, the Film Fund, it covers the entire value chain of the audiovisual industry, and the total amount of the fund is around 20 million euros. And this goes from development projects until theaters or film festivals. But to be more specific, a quick overview of the different funds that we have for production. We have a development fund that is for features and TV series, either animation, documentary, or fiction, and you can get up to 50,000 euros. Then there's another specific one for short films, a television fund for single works only, either documentary or fiction. There's a fiction TV series fund, an animation production fund for TV series and feature films. And then the main one, which is for feature films, which is only for Catalan majority productions. And this has three levels of fund, that you can apply to it, depending on the budget that the project has and its characteristics. And then you could get, so you have a figure in your head, but you could get up to 800,000 euros. But that would be for a high budget film and in Catalan original version. So from there, you can go a little bit down, And then finally, there's the Minority Co-Production Fund, which I'm going to explain you a little bit more in detail in the next slides. I have to say that all funds are compatible with the Spanish National Fund, with Ibermedia, with Media, and with Europeus. Okay, so you can combine everything. Catalonia is a small country, and in order to produce, we've had to find strong allies in other countries from all our history. So we have a long-standing co-production tradition. We usually co-produce, the last 5 years, we've co-produced an average of 24 feature films. And these figures here in this slide, it's the co-productions we did last year, okay? To put you some examples of things that we've done, A Fantastic Woman was a Catalan minority co-production. A long time ago, we co-produced Uncle Bunmi, Who Can't Recall His Past Life, which won the Cannes Film Festival. And in a more commercial way, we co-produced most of the Woody Allen films as well. As you can see here, Europe and Latin America are two partners that our natural partners. We co-produce a lot with France. Maybe it's not the best example last year, but it's usually our main co-producer because of the vicinity, because it's next to it. We are next to each other. And if you go to the next slide, I'm going to start talking about the Minority Co-Production Fund more deeply. The picture you see here is Costa Brava, Lebanon, which was one of the films that got the fund last year. We put in place this fund last year only. And one of the main films that got the support was Costa Brava, Lebanon, which was selected in Venice this year, then Toronto. And last weekend, it won the Audience Award in BFI. So we're extremely happy with this film. And it's the perfect highlight for you to understand what we're looking for with this line of support. It's the exchange between artistic communities and between international professionals. In this case, for example, for Costa Brava, Lebanon, Clara Roquet, it's a Catalan scriptwriter that was already co-writing the script of this film. And once the fund was put in place, one Catalan production company thought that they should enter the co-production. And it's 5 countries. It's Lebanon, Catalonia, Denmark, Sweden, and France. And Catalonia ended up being the second partner in the film because they got the Catalan fund and also the Spanish fund. And they ended up doing the script writing and also the whole post-production process in Catalonia. If you go to the next slide, the requirements of the fund, the local share has to be, in case of a bipartisan co-production, at least 20%. If it's a multi-party, at least 10%. When you're doing the application, the financing of the film has to be secured by 40% at least. The international co-production must have been approved by Spain as well when you do the application. The feature film must be released in commercial cinemas in Catalonia. And a very important thing for you to know is there's no obligation to shoot in Catalonia. Once the international co-production has been approved, you will have some spending in Catalonia. This is fine with us. And another detail, this picture you see here, it's from another project that got the fund last year, which is called Balloon Wars. It's a documentary which is completely shot in Brazil about a secret society that makes hot air balloons in the favelas. And it's a co-production between Catalonia and Denmark, but entirely shot and about Brazil. If you go to the next slide, you can see what is taken into account for the assessment of the project. Of course, the quality of the screenplay, the quality of the creative proposal, the potential for distribution, either national or international. We are looking forward to creating this reciprocity. So we're looking for this potential reciprocity between partners, the company's track record, the economic viability of the project, and the fostering of gender equality as well. And finally, if you go to the last slide, the amount, okay, I'm going to tell you. Yes, the amount you can get to is up to 300,000 euros and up to 60% of the Catalan share. And the application must be done by the local partner, and there's only one call per year. We just closed this year's call, which was open. It opened beginning of summer and it closed at middle September. And we give the results before the end of the year. So this is a quick overview of what we can offer. And thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mamedi. We'll let the questions to after the presentations. So now I want to say welcome to Iole Maria Giannatasio, Direzione Generale di Cinema e Audiovisivo d'Italia, talking about the public fund mechanism in Italy. Please welcome, Iole.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Bon dia. I'm very happy to be here with you, and thank you for having me in this panel. I'll try to be as quick and effective as Mar was, hoping to give an overview of our system. We are the Ministry of Culture, so we are a department of the Ministry of Culture that manages the National Film Fund. The overall fund amounts to a minimum annual budget of 640 million euros, of course, supporting not just production, but all the chain, so starting from development to film festivals and cinema theaters, even though the biggest chunk of this amount goes to production. Actually, the fund that this amount, over 600 million euros, is the minimum, because it can go higher than that. And I have to say, unfortunately, in this past year with the COVID pandemic, it was way higher. I mean, this is not unfortunate, but the reason for which it was increased were obviously to support the industry in such difficult times. We mainly use three tools to support production: selective contribution, so the typical grant that is decided by a film committee on a competitive basis; tax credits, which is instead a fixed rate on the amount of expenses that are incurred by the production company; and what we call automatic contributions, which are instead based on the track record of the producer. I'll go into more details about these ones, but let me first start by saying that co-productions are our darlings, since in all our schemes, they are privileged with bonuses, extra points, advantages, and so on and so forth. Co-producing with Italy is pretty easy. As Lucas said, with Brazil, we have a treaty, but in general, even if that is lacking, we can have an official, let's say, co-productions that are nevertheless accepted as Italian from our side. And we are obviously also part of the European Convention. That being said, let's go back to the support schemes, and in particular to those schemes that are specific for co-productions. Since 2019, we have set up a minority co-production scheme with a budget of 5 million euros per year, which is divided in two annual calls. This is for theatrically released feature films only, but also including documentary and animation, but we want this to be released in theaters. Italy has to participate as a co-producer for at least 20% in the case of a bilateral co-production, or 10% in the case of a multilateral one. The grant is a non-recoupable one and cannot exceed 60% of the Italian share, which is then capped at 300,000 euros. 80% of the grant has to be spent in Italy, but by spent in Italy, we mean not just the actual spending like with shooting or post-production, but also by hiring Italian taxpayers in the crew or in the cast, so working abroad, but paying taxes in Italy. What's important here is that the majority country has to have financing secure for at least 50% of its share at the moment of the application. And that's for the Minority Co-Production Fund, but we also have several co-development bilateral funds with specific countries. I would like to mention here Portugal, because I guess that might be interesting in considering the language, but this is at a development stage, so not at a production stage. I would like to go back to these main tools I was mentioning before, though, because co-productions, both majority or minority co-productions with Italy, are also eligible to all the other funds. And this is where actually what the biggest money is. Of course, if you have a minority co-production with Italy, I would advise you go to the minority fund, because of course there the competition is smaller. You're only competing with other minority co-productions and not with 100% national films. Also, bear in mind, sorry, I didn't mention that before, the criteria for the minority co-production fund are, let's say, the usual ones. So they're based on the quality of the script, or the potential circulation of the project. But there's one criteria in particular that I would like to point out that might be interesting for Brazil. We want to have some sort of special treatment for the co-production with countries that are not the ones we traditionally co-produce with. Of course, European countries are the ones we usually co-produce with. France and Spain, just to mention the ones that are here with us, of course, are considered traditional co-producing partners. So if there's a minority co-production with a country that stands out because it's not the one we're expecting, like Brazil would be, then this would help in the ranking. This could give it extra points, let's say. But now going back to our traditional tools, I will be very quick on that. I would just like to emphasize what are the advantages as a co-production if you participate instead to this other fund. So in case of the selective support, which has a budget of over 30 million euros per year, there as a co-production, the project gets extra points. So the system is similar, it's a selective one, so based on the quality of the script, of the story, of the production involved. But being a co-production, it's actually guaranteeing fixed automatic extra points. As for the tax credit, which can be combined with the minority grant, the tax credit is a fixed rate of 40% on the Italian share. So even if the whole share is not spent in Italy, 40% of the Italian share will get this tax credit, will be covered by this tax credit. But if instead the Italian share, or better, the spend in Italy exceeds the Italian share, which can happen in the case, for instance, the story is set in Italy, then the whole amount, even the one exceeding the Italian share, is the basis on which the 40% tax credit is calculated, which means this will go indirectly to the majority partner who's actually in charge of that share. And finally, the automatic contribution is a fund with a budget that ranges in between 40 and 50 million euros per year. This is automatically generated based on the track record of the company, meaning of the results the company had in the past in terms of economic results, like the box office, but also cultural or artistic results. For instance, the participation to festivals, winning awards, and cultural points are given to previous co-production. So a producer who has an experience in co-producing gets more points. So bear that also in mind in choosing an Italian partner, because if they have already points coming from this automatic contribution fund, it means they have money ready there, cash, to be spent in new productions. This is a very quick overview. I hope I haven't made you more confused now, but I'm available for questions later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yoli. Yes, I think it's a quick overview, but very clarifying, and it's so good to know more about the possibilities in Italy. I think are good points. So, and our third panelist of the morning is Savannah Charrier from the Cyclic Center in the Vale do Loire, talking about the public fund mechanisms in the region of the Vale do Loire. Welcome, Svetlana.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the invitation. Do you hear me? Oh, okay. So I'm Svetlana. I'm in charge of the coordination of the regional industry in the region Centre-Val de Loire in France. It's in the south of Paris. My job is to foster the economical and international development of the regional industry, so the producers, authors, and technicians. So just as an introduction, there are 18 regional funds in France, besides the CNC, which is the French National Fund, and Cyclic is one of them. Cyclic is a French regional agency for books, image, and digital culture. And as such, it implements the regional cultural policy for the region Centre-Val de Loire, primarily fostering emerging new talents and international co-development. And our fund amounts to 2.5 million euros per year. Our agency has developed a mentoring and counseling program for the regional industry on one side, and on the other side, 3 support programs in favor of the international co-production. One is for the writing and development of first and second feature films. The other one for international co-development of TV series and dramas. And the last one is for international co-development of feature films. It's the last one I'm going to talk mostly about, the international co-development for feature films. The goal of this scheme is to foster international experience and network of the regional producers. And to be eligible, the projects only have to be co-produced by a regional producer, so a production company from the region Centre-Val de Loire. It can be a majority or minority production. We don't care. The only other criteria is the language and or the nationality of the director. If the director is French, the language cannot be French, and if the language is French, the director cannot be French. So it's not hard to go there. We have no obligation of regional expenditure. What we care about is, of course, the quality of the project and the quality of the script, but also the relationship and the exchange between both producers, what one can bring to the other one. And we can support 4 projects a year up to 40,000 euros. This scheme is compatible with the other one for writing and development for first and second feature films I told you about before, supporting a project up to 20,000 euros at the stage of writing and 20,000 at the stage of development. It means, in short, that as a region, we can support your project up to 80,000 euros. And naturally, this is compatible with all the international development funds like Überbals, ITFA, Bertha Fund, L'aide au cinéma du monde, World Cinema Fund, and also media, Euromage, etc., etc. We chose to focus on development to act as a lever at the beginning of the making of your film, because we think you can find production funds elsewhere. So we really chose to focus on writing and development. And the perfect example was already given by Ma actually earlier with Costa Brava, Lebanon, because we were also on the film. It's a film by Mouni Akil that was premiered in Venice this year. But we also have supported other movies like 666 by Alice Furtado, which was co-produced with between France, region Centre-Val de Loire, and Brazil, which was in Cannes in 2019. We also supported Frida more recently. Frida, which is a movie by Jessica Genius, which was in Cannes this year in 2021, which was a co-production between our region and Haiti. Just to be more specific about the interregional partnerships, we are also working with two other French regions, Pays de la Loire and Bretagne, which are at the west of France, a partnership which is called Deux Temps Trois Mouvements. So it's very difficult to translate. Actually, it means very fast. It means something like that. And we work together to build complementary support funds and mentoring policies. For example, we have a development fund. They have production fund for feature films. We have a scheme that is very compatible for first short films, and we have some training courses that are open to the industry of the three regions. And we also joined forces to welcome the second session of the EAV Producers Workshop. I don't know if you've heard of that in last July. That was in Catalonia, also I think in September or October, I don't remember. It's right now, okay. And we also have an international network that aims to promote international co-production worldwide, which is called Déclic. And it aims to foster also the regional industries of 6 cooperation partners. So the region Centre-Val de Loire, the other 2 regions I told you about, Pays de la Loire and Bretagne, Sub-Saharan Africa with our partner, the Ouaga Film Lab, Wallonia with our partner Walimage, and the French-speaking Canada with our partners On Screen Manitoba and the APFC. And in addition to the schemes, we have an annual mentoring program, etc. For example, we have delegations in international markets. So next week we have several producers going to Doc Leipzig, and I'm going with them to promote the industry, etc. So I'm there if you want to know more about the producer from the region Centre-Val de Loire, and I hope all the 3 interventions make you want to co-produce in Europe, at least. Thank you.
Thank you, Svetlana. Yes, I think probably anyone wants to work in Europe and find a co-producer there. We have some questions from the audience. First is from Clarissa Guarilla. She asked, and this is for the Catalan funding. In order to apply, the local co-producer must present the other 40% of his finance share already secured.
No. The Catalan co-producer doesn't need to have anything secured. The 40% has to be from the total budget. It doesn't matter if it's more important that the international producer has part of their budget secured, basically.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, I'd like to know, of course, you have a selection, but what do you three think is the strongest points to the Brazilians to focus on? Is about the money, is about the quality of the project, or the crew that are involved into this project?
Is that a question for everybody?
Yes, for everybody. Who wants to? It's just to about the talk.
I think it's about the talent that Brazil can offer. They've got a lot of talent. I don't know, Svetlana, what you were about to say.
Yes, for us, it's first the quality of the project, of course, and as I said in the second time, the quality of the relationship between the producers. We don't want to be just a bank to give money for a foreign producer. We just want the foreign producer to bring something to the regional producer, and if the regional producer brings something to the foreign producer, that's perfect. I mean, really, that's what we're looking for.
If I may, yes, and just in line with what Mara and Svetlana said, I confirm this. Obviously, that is let's say the main things we're also looking for. I would just add that the exchange between the two companies, it's important, and it's also important that, I mean, it's not mandatory, but it will help to see that this is not just a one-off partnership, that they are establishing some sort of collaboration that might go on in the future or was already there before, that they are somehow growing professionally together. This is something we value very much. We don't want, basically, sorry, I'll be very blunt here, we don't want just to see a minority co-production that it's quickly put together just because we have a minority fund in place now. You know, it shows, and it doesn't go into our, let's say, perspective of supporting cooperation between countries, that it's going to stay for longer.
Yeah, that's amazing. We always say that a co-production is like a marriage. We have to know each other very well, and to start the relationship, and then go to the co-production by itself. Another question is about where the Brazilian producers can seek for the productions for Europe. For example, Brazilian content attend a lot of events through the world, like MIPCOM, like NetP, Kidscreen. Where do you think the producers have to go? They have to go on site, or they can make connections online through a virtual event, or send some emails to the producers, where they can find more about the producers from each country or region?
Okay, I'm gonna start. Oh, you go, Svetlana.
No. Okay, sorry. For me, they can contact me directly. They can contact the producers. They can see them in many markets, mostly on site, but also online. We have a booklet where we have all the presentations of the companies and the contact. If they want more details about what producers could be more fitting the project, I can show them. I can target some producers for them. And once again, I'm not the producer, so the producer makes his choice. So, but there are many possibilities to contact our producers.
Yeah, in our case, it's practically the same. We in all the major markets in Europe. In Latin America, we always are at Ventana Sur, so that makes more sense for Brazilian probably. Then we also edit each year a booklet which is called Shoot and Co-Produce with Catalonia. And there you have all the information about the latest films that we've released, the film funds in itself, and then a small guide to producers that are used to co-produce or interested in co-productions. And if this is not enough, you can always contact us and we can target, you can send us a bit of information about your project and we target producers that can be of interest for you. So, same tools.
Yes, as for Italy, of course, I think on-site meetings during film markets, it's the best. Of course, now we had to switch to this online version, but I mean, you don't need me to say that. It's obviously, better for, I think, for business and for getting to know each other, since the two things go along. You can find Italian producers participating in most markets, I think, around the world. I would like to also advise you, because contrary to what my colleague said, I cannot say, come to us and we will advise you on who could be your possible partners. We're not allowed to do that. But what you can do instead is check this website that is called italyformovies.com, which is a website that we set up together with our film commissions, the regional ones. So there you can find not only, let's say, a profile of all the support schemes, both at a national and a local level. You also have a database of all the locations you can find in different regions, and obviously the contact info of the regional film commissions. And there are the ones who can help you also connect to the local producers. So italyformovies.com.
Okay, thank you so much, Ioli. Yes, I think one of the things that I think Mamedi and Ioli said is about the tax rebate policies that you have. In Brazil, you have one example that is the cash rebate from São Paulo Film Commission, and help a lot of producers from abroad to co-produce with the Brazilian companies. And what kind of service, I think, Catalan films and Italy also have the film commissions. And what do you think about? Is better to do looking for a minority co-production fund, or other ways you can look for the tax rebate? What of both do you suggest? Or I think you always say that you can use them together. And do you think it's a way to a producer from Brazil that are looking for a co-production?
Shall I start there, or you want to go ahead? Okay. Well, yes, actually there are two options. Definitely the minority co-production fund can be combined with the tax credit. The tax credit would cover up to 40% of the Italian share, and ideally you can get up to 60% of the Italian share with the minority co-production fund. But let's see if one can go up to this, can combine this amount of state aid. Anyhow, yes, the two can be combined, but let me also remind you that we also have a tax credit for foreign productions that are shooting in Italy through an Italian service provider, exactly. So this is the only support scheme that can go to non-Italian films. And it only requires for the foreign company to shoot at least for 1 day on the Italian territory, and also have all the production there. And for those expenses, one will get 40% tax credit as well. So this is also possible for audiovisual production, so for TV series, for instance, still with the same rate. But in that case, you would only get that. You cannot have access to all our support schemes, because these are only eligible to Italian to films with an Italian nationality, whether a co-production or not, but not a foreign film.
Yeah. Okay. So for us, the Spanish tax rebate, yeah, it's very similar. I think it's similar to what Ioli was saying. We have a tax rebate for international productions, and this is when it's not a co-production. But the minimum spend has to be 1 million euros. And then there's also a tax credit for national shoots and co-productions, but you need also a really high budget for that. So I think this would be for different. The minority co-production fund is for smaller budgets, and the tax rebates and tax credits is for higher budgets. So I think it would be two different schemes in that case. even though you can put it together in the same. On paper, they say that you can combine them, but when you design your production, I think it's for different types of projects.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's for different type of projects, and well, maybe I'm thinking about some questions, but I don't have any now. Do you have anything to say more to our audience? We're waiting for any question, any more questions. Okay, and about Yoris, Mamedi say about when open the subscriptions. I think can you recap the when open the submissions, or if it is a continuous submission, you can put the projects at any moment, or no, you have a date that you have to apply. Yeah, so just to
I go. Yeah, okay. In our case, it opens around end of spring, beginning of summer, and it ends at half September. The call for projects. It's only one call per year, and the resolution comes before the end of the year. In our case.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go, please.
Thank you. Super quick. With our minority co-production fund, we have 2 calls per year. We decide the dates just at the beginning of the next year, so we don't have it yet. But more, let's say roughly, the first one is in between April, May, June, let's say, right before summer, and the second one is in fall, so September, October, roughly.
And in France, for us, for Centre Val de Loire, we have 2 committees per year, so 2 calls, and the next one is in November. So really near from now. For the committee in January, and the next call is in May 2022 for a committee in July. So I don't know if I send the dates, the exact dates. The 8th of November to the 22nd of November for the next one.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I think that's it. I'd like to say thank you to everyone, to our panelists, from Mamedi from Catalan Filmes, Tavana Cheie from Ciclite Centre Val de Loire, and Lioli Giannatasio from the Minister of Culture from Italy. It's a real pleasure to have this talk to you, and see you at I'm really hopeful at the on-site event, because we're very tired of the virtual ones.
Thank you, Lucas, and everyone. Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.